All right, this is a 2011 Honda Odyssey, and I'll show you how to change the brake pads on this. I took the wheel off already, and that's simply a 7/8 socket, and you can use your tire wrench as well for that. So this is, once you have the wheel off, then you can access the caliper. This is the caliper, and the brake pad is inside of this, so you have to remove a couple bolts. That's it. So these are the two bolts that you need to remove. It's this one right here, and there's one right here. You'll need a number 14 millimeter socket to remove that. And if that doesn't come off easily and you can't hit on there to get it off, you can use just a little bit of a hammer and hit on that, and that will break it loose for you. And pretty quickly you can get this loose, where you can just remove both of these bolts. It doesn't take much turning with a socket with your wrench. You can use an open end wrench as well. I'm just using a socket. Then you want to just simply wiggle this loose, and it can take a little bit of pressure to do that, but you want to make sure you don't break this brake line right here. So that does not have a lot of space, extra wiggle room. So as soon as it clears this, just simply be very careful. And you can just bring this up. You can either set it on something right here, or zip tie it to something here, or put it on a bucket. Or I just like to bring it up, and you can just set it right there, and that's good for right now. So now that your brake pads are exposed, just simply remove these little springs here, little wires, and you want to make sure you keep them, because you'll use them for the new pads. And then you simply slide out. Just slide these out, just like that. Sometimes they just fall out. So these aren't terrible. I am getting it inspected soon, so I decided I'm just going to replace it. I had to replace on the opposite side, so I decided to just replace these on the, and this is the rear side. So yeah, and for you, those of you that are new, this is the rotor right here. This is the rotor. This is the caliper. These two pieces together, and these are the brake pads. And here are my new pads. I bought these off at Amazon for about 40 bucks. All right, to put the pads in, you just simply slide them, and it should fit pretty well, but there's a kind of only one way that they'll go in, but there is a possibility to flip them the wrong way and put them in this way. It'll take a little bit more work to do that, but just make sure that this ceramic side, the rough side, is turned in to your rotor, or you will not have any brakes. So you do that, and then you want to make sure that you put these springs back in. And when you do this, so this is to pull the pads away from the rotor, and so I usually like to you stick, there's little holes here, just tiny little holes that you just pop that in. It's pretty easy, but you kind of have to keep pressing on it, mostly because they will come back out again. So another step that's very important to do is, when you put new pads on, they're going to be wider. So with that piston on the caliper, and by wider I mean they're going to need, the caliper will need to be more open, so for this to slide back over the brake pad. So what you want to do is get a C-clamp, or have some way to compress that piston. Just move it in, and I'll show you how I do that. All right, and the way I do it, I use this C-clamp. You can pick these up at Harbor Freight or somewhere they're fairly inexpensive, but this kind of works the best. So for these these calibers, they don't twist, they just go straight in, which is really convenient. Some models this will turn, some vehicles, but as far as I know, Honda, it just goes straight in. So there's a I just simply take this and I insert it into the caliber here. One end like this, and the other end is just on the back of a bolt there. And then I just hold this, and then I start just turning this in. And you can see it's takes a little bit to get it right, but you want to do it very slowly. And you can see that the piston is starting to turn in. These are fairly new calibers, so it goes pretty easy. If yours are older and rusty, it might go a little harder, but you just slowly turn it. And one thing you want to do is, under the hood, there's the brake pad reservoir, or I'm sorry, the brake fluid reservoir. You want to open the cap because you are pushing brake fluid back up the line, and it just goes a little easier, I think, when you do that. So you keep pressing, keep turning, slowly, 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 nothing too fast, until it's in there almost flush right there. So that should give us enough clearance now, because it's wider here, right here. So the brake pad should slide in there. And I'm going to just simply back that out, move this over, and now that should give plenty of clearance. So now that that we've widened this, now it should just slide right over your calibers, and you just simply slide it in, give it a little push in there, and the next thing you want to do is just put these two bolts back in. Just use the same bolts, and you might have to move it around, wiggle it around to get things to line up. I don't know that it's a right or wrong if you do the bottom first or the top first. Sometimes it's easier just to do the bottom and get it started, and then you can come up the top and get that started. So you just basically do the opposite of how you took it off. And again, your number 14, just make it nice and tight. You don't have to get a hammer and tighten it that way, but just simply tighten it, make it good and snug with your socket, and put your wheel back on, and you are good to go.